I want to tell you the following. I'm going to start with Josephus for some reason. Because Josephus is a part of Second Temple, or what we call the Hellenistic and First Roman period in the land of Israel. You have to start with Josephus. He just tells you about almost everything in this land. Everything I told you about Herod's son, it's in Josephus. Everything that you need from Second Temple, it's Herod. Okay, if you're looking for a source, it's Josephus. And I'll start with Josephus. And Josephus tells us about Hanyon before the city was established, and he explains the following. I'm going to free translate it, okay, from what I have. It's in the Wars of the Jews, of course, and he writes the following. Over there, there's a big mountain, comes up to the highest of mountains, and he says on the bottom of the mountain there's a big cave, and in the cave he says there's a big crack going all the way down to the depths. That's what he says. I want to add another word, down to Hades. Because in the Greek world, when you talk about a crack that goes all the way down, and from it water comes up, that is where the river Styx goes down into Hades. Have you ever heard about the river Styx? Or about Charon? That you have to give him a coin. That's why when they buried people, they put a coin in his mouth so he can give it to the guy who'll take them through the river down to Hades. Okay? So the river Styx starts, or Hades, okay, starts, okay, from a place like this that has a very, very deep. How does he know it's very deep? He says that people tried to figure out how deep this ravine is, so they took a rope and they start putting it into the crack and see how deep does it go. And he says, and they couldn't. They took more rope and more rope and more rope. They never got to the end. So there's a really deep ravine in here that goes all the way down to Hades. Okay? And then he says at the end of the cave, the water starts spouting out. In a second you'll see it in your own eyes. And he says, this is where Panyon, this is later on where the city of Caesarea Philippi is going to be established. If you understand that the theme that Josephus has, saying to you that this cave is part of Hades, now we can move onwards to the next source. And the next source I want to read to you is the New Testament. If you want to divide Jesus' life into 4 sections, they're going to be as follows. From pre-birth to age of 12, then nothing until the age of 30. So it's not really a segment, but there's nothing you know about Jesus from the age of 12 to the age of 30. Then you'll hear about the 3 years of what we call his messengery, etc. 3 years that he had pupils, that he taught, that he did miracles from the age of 30 to the age of 33. Then one segment called the last week of his life. Okay? And then the last segment will be from resurrection until ascension. So again, yes, because one part we know nothing about. There's 5 parts, but one is missing. 12 to 30 is just missing. Okay? So if I would tell you things that are happening in the Galilee, okay, when can they be? If he's already Jesus the man, not Jesus the boy, it has to be between 30 and 33. Okay? The last week is in Jerusalem. And then further on, mostly is in Jerusalem area, a few things up here and there, but mainly in Jerusalem area again. So again, when I'm saying is when you talk about the Galilee and Jesus preaching, talking, when would it be? 30 to 33. I'm there. Okay? How is this place called? Between 30 AD to 33 AD? How is this place called? Caesarea Philippi. Okay? Caesarea Philippi. And then it's in Matthew, she gave you 16:13, but there's more in Mark. There's a few versions. I'm going to be reading from Matthew 16:13. And it says as follows. When Jesus came into the coast, villages, area of Philippi, there's different translation to that word. I would say region is the best word, or villages. He wasn't in Caesarea Philippi. In a second I would ask why not? Why wasn't he here? Why doesn't he want to come into the big city? It's a question. Why is he standing there in the villages of Caesarea Philippi? And he's pointing towards the big city. Why isn't Jesus coming into the city? It's a big question. And then he goes to his pupils and he says the following. He asks his disciples, saying, "Who do men say that I, the Son of Man, am?" And I would say in my own words, what do people say about me? What do they think about me, the great teacher? What do they think? So they say, some say John the Baptist, some Elijah, and others Jeremiah or one of the prophets. People think that you are a prophet. People think that you are a high man, a holy man. He said to them, "But who do you say that I am?" I don't care what people say. I want to know what you think. My disciples, what do you think about me? And then it says the following. Simon Peter answered and said, "You are the Christ, the Son of the living God." This is one of the most important sentences in the New Testament, if I can give grades. It's the first time that someone understands and says it out loud that Christ is Christ. Before that, he was Jesus, he was the teacher, he was many other things, but he wasn't Christ. This is the first time when he's being said to be Christ. Second thing is that the Son of the living God. Can you hear the wordings? On this sentence, there'll be mountains and mountains of books to explain what Jesus was. A man, a God, a living God, the living Son of a God. And you can already understand why this sentence is very important to the theology of Christianity. Okay? And it's all happening there, not here, but somewhere there, in the villages of the area of Caesarea Philippi. And it doesn't end there. And then Jesus says the following. Jesus answered and said to him, "Blessed are you, Simon Bar-Jonah, for flesh and blood has not revealed this to you, but my Father who is in heaven." He says to him, "You are almost a prophet yourself. This knowledge came to you by God himself," he says. "And I also say that you are Peter." And this is very important. I'm reading from a new translation of the Bible into English, and listen to the following wording. He says to you, "And you are Peter, and on this rock." Which rock? Wait, which rock? Second, wait for that. I'm reading what it says here. "And on this rock I will build my church, and the gates of Hades shall not prevail against it." When Jesus says the following, "And you, Peter, and on this rock," over there with the cave of gates of Hades, "I would build my church." Some of you are looking at me. If you're Catholic, you have no clue what I'm talking about. Sure. Of
course.
But if you're a Protestant, it makes so much sense. And why? He says, "You are Peter, and you're going to destroy what's happening there." What's happening there? They have, you'll see in a second, they have temples for Greek gods. They idol worshipping over there. I'm going to build a church over there. Excuse me, you're going to be building it. You, Peter, are going to be building the church on the, it says the rock. Which rock? Okay. What I just told you is exactly the Protestant way to hear this verses in the New Testament. A Protestant will want to see the rock, understand what are the gates of Hades, and do the connection between the verses. If you are a Catholic, they'll kick you out right at that instant if you'll say that. Because the Catholic tradition is as follows. when Jesus said, and you, Peter, Peter, Petrus, petrified in English, means rock. Something that petrified became rock.
Yeah, that's why Peter is the head of the Catholic Church. Yeah.
So when he says, you are Peter, and on this, not that rock over there, but this rock,
Yeah.
I'm going to build my church. So what does he say? He says to Peter, you're going to be the foundation of my church.
Yeah.
And that's why the reason every Catholic in the world believes that Peter, who was the first pope,
Yes.
who went to Rome,
He's the head of the Catholic
he's the
Church.
head of the Catholic Church. And every pope gets its essence from
Of Peter.
this wording
Saint Peter,
here.
yes.
In this, you think not, of course.
Not the real stone, the story.
Exactly. This is what's so funny. They come in. It's very important to them, the story, but not the location. The location is irrelevant because the stone is what?
It's
Peter
Peter.
himself. And I want to show you something very, very interesting. When I talk about the Catholic, and it's okay. This is a picture from the 15th century. This is, okay, Jesus gives the keys of the heavens. I didn't talk to you about the next verse. That he gives the keys of the heavens to Peter. And you can see something's very wrong in this picture. What's wrong about this
Show me.
picture?
Let me take a look, please.
What's wrong about the picture?
He's hitting him. He's hitting him the keys.
He's giving him a key. It's okay. It's a figure of saying it's a key. The key isn't the problem. No. Okay, people, there's a big problem. Look at where it happened, and look why it's happening here. What's the scene? What's the scene? Who said? It's Rome. Thank you very much. The scene is Rome because the scene isn't important. Because what's important is he's going to become the Pope in Rome. And the scene is victory gates that you can see in Rome and cathedrals that you can see in Rome.
So I think
Okay?
that
This is the issue. The issue is not the location. The issue is the essence of the story. That Peter is the rock, is the foundation of the church.
No matter
And
where
now
it
listen
is.
to
yeah.
what I'm saying. It's so important. Many times you'll get groups. It doesn't matter.